my name is Strong Farce. I'm going to give you a quick little walkthrough. You've just finished playing through the tutorial in Hearthstone. I wanted to kind of give an overview of kind of how to play the game from some strategies that you want to pay attention to early on. So we're going to head into practice mode. This is me on a blank account. You can see I have no gold. I had one bonus pack because I had bought Reapers of Souls, Diablo, but we're going to pretend like I don't have any cards at all or anything, any resources except for what you got right out of the tutorial. We're going to start by practicing against the normal AI. And the reason why we're going to be doing that is because we don't have all of the heroes yet. We only have our mage that we're starting with.
To unlock heroes, you'll need to defeat them. Challenge your favorite hero first.
So I'm just going to go from top to bottom because that makes the most order of sense. I'm not actually going to show all these games. I'm going to just start by kind of trying to show you a few different aspects of concepts like value, trading, trying to anticipate plays, and kind of just, again, a little bit of an overview of the basics that you probably already learned from the tutorial. So something that's different.
If you don't like some of those cards, you can replace them.
I was just about to explain that. It's been a long time since I've gone through this. So what would I not like about this opening hand? You know, we both start with 0 mana, starts counting up every turn. I know for a fact that most 1 or 2 mana creatures have 2 or 3 health, or even 1 health. So Arcane Missiles deal 3 damage split randomly, has a chance of killing whatever he might be able to play on the first turn. This creature is a very defensive creature because he has 2 attack but 3 health, and up against other similar stats, 2 mana cost minions. He's pretty good. He can usually trade with most of them. The only thing in this opening hand that's not great, in my opinion, is Fireball, because I consider Fireball a late game spell. You might think, well, man, when I get to turn 4, I can deal 6 damage right away. Well, it's not actually as good as it sounds. For the most part, you want to try to build up board presence so that you can effectively trade and kill his minions, because in general, the person who has the best board control will eventually win the game. So I'm going to throw that one away, but I'm going to keep the other cards because, you know, if he plays on something on turn 1, I can potentially kill it with this. I then have a decent minion to play on turn 2, and then I also have a decent minion to follow up on 3. He's just not super strong because he only has 1 health, but I can potentially kill one of his minions using that card. So let's see what we get when we turn that back. Okay, we have another turn 2 play that's possible.
So you get the coin. Use it wisely.
So this is the other aspect of what happens when you go second. You get 4 cards plus the coin. The coin is a spell that only one player gets. It gives you 1 extra mana crystal for a single turn. He didn't play anything on turn 1. There are 2 options, well, 3 options actually. One is we could just skip and keep hold of the coin. The other option is we could start building our board by playing the coin and playing like the River Crocolusk. I would not really recommend coining out this guy, even though he draws a card, just because he's a 1/1 body. Him being on the board doesn't really affect that much. Because it's been such a long time since I've gone through this, I'm going to play very conservatively. If I wasn't playing conservatively, I would coin this guy out. That's the more aggressive mood, but I'm gonna play a little bit more in kind of a control fashion. Keep the coin in case I need it later. Turns out he didn't have a turn 2 play, so what I did was the correct play. Hero's Hunter power, since you haven't been exposed to this yet, is deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. Unlike ours, where we can actually damage anything on the board, he can only hit my face. So we don't have to worry about playing a minion that only has 2 health. He can't kill it right away. He has to use something on the board. So again, we're going to build board presence rather than using this. Again, this isn't a very strong minion, so we're going to hold on to it until we need cards. We actually have plenty of cards right now, so there's no real reason to start drawing yet. So he was able to deal 1 damage. Not very threatening. So we have a couple of different options here. If we wanted to be aggressive, we could use the coin to get our Sinjin out, so that we have, you know, 3 + 1 mana is 4. And this is a taunt creature, which during the tutorial learned means that he has to hit that before you can get through to our other minions. The more conservative play is to trade and play another creature, and in general, early game you try to stay on your mana curve. That's a term that you'll hear about, quite a bit. Is that the curve of the mana is kind of as it progresses, how much mana you have each turn. So we know that next turn we're going to need something to play on 4 mana, 5 mana, 6 mana, etc. So, because I had said I was going to play conservatively, I am going to do that. And I'm going to play Wolf Rider. As you notice, it says charge. If you didn't notice from the tutorial, that means he can immediately attack. And that's that. So again, we're on the board. He has to react to us. So he plays a minion, has 3 attack, 2 health. Slightly better than ours, now that we've already established ours on the board. Fireball is very tempting to new players. Just go straight to face, and make them react. But hunters in general are considered aggressors. As we get into other videos, I'm not going to go into the kind of archetypes of what you see when you play competitively in Hearthstone. But in general, they're a little bit more on the aggressive side, whereas mages in general aren't. So because of that, I'm again just going to keep playing conservatively. This card deals 3 damage that randomly split amongst enemy characters, has a 50% chance to clear that 3/2, because the most common case is that if you dealt 2 damage to random enemies, it would get split between them. That third one then is another 50-50 chance, and so that's where you get that 50% chance to actually kill this minion. In my opinion, it's not worth the risk because I have a very conservative play that works out quite nicely. Just again, clear his board. We're not really affecting his face very much, but that's okay because the more we have board control, the more that we'll have things that we can hit his face with. So, in general, if you can't kill a minion, it's probably best to not necessarily damage it unless you know that you have to do that to be able to kill it the next turn. So that's kind of the air of the kind of basic AI. So again, to try to play on curve, we want to look for a card that has 5 mana, and then we also want to evaluate, is it actually a card we want to play. This is a 4/4 minion. That's actually pretty good stats. Cost 5 mana. It immediately deals 3 damage to the enemy hero. I don't see any reason not to play this. So you can see the battle cry. As soon as you play it, takes effect. Hits them for 3. I'm going to hit with my other minion. Nothing else I want to do to this turn. I want to hold on to that coin again, just in case I need it. Coin can become useful if I draw a card and it happens to be something that's too expensive, and I need it to be able to play something else. So let's look at this card for a second here. This card has a battle cry, give a friendly beast +2/+2 and taunt. If we hadn't been clearing the board, this card would have been able to beef up one of his other beasts that he had on board. And it would have made it a much harder board for us to actually deal with. So it was very good of us to actually take care of it when we could. So how do we want to deal with this? If we don't play anything, if we don't trade with him, then he will have to attack to get through this taunt. We're going to use that to our advantage, and this is where we're going to first actually start trying to be aggressive. And the reason why is we have a good board, we have a taunt up, which protects us to some extent, not perfectly, but there's always ways that you might be able to get through taunt that the opponent's not expecting. But we have a really good minion here. It's a Boulder Fist Ogre. It's a 6 mana, 6/7 card. That is a lot of health. It's very hard to kill, and it's on our curve. So I'm going to play that. And again, because this is a taunt, I'm going to take my chances because not only does he have to kill these 2 minions, he has to worry about this thing. We're way ahead on what's on board. So I'm going to go straight to his face at this point and make him feel the pressure, make him try to get through. So he was able to damage that. He's going to get rid of my big character. But after all that, I still have my 4/4 on board. I'm not upset at all. He doesn't have anything on board. I'm going to be able to hit him for 4, and look what we just drew. We just drew another great card. Now, I played this out of instinct because I already ran through a lot of evaluations on my head, but every turn you should be thinking, can I kill him? So I had 4 damage, and I could play 6 damage. That's only 10. Couldn't quite kill him, so it's still good just to go for what's valuable on the board. Technically, I did miss lethal, because that's an extra 3, and we could have pyroblasted his face. Fire blasted his face. So yeah, that's I did actually miss lethal. Because that would have been 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 3 is 14 plus 1, or 13 plus 1 is 14. So thankfully it didn't matter because we have exact lethal on board.
This one's mine.
So that kind of shows you don't necessarily have to play perfectly all the time. Everyone makes mistakes. In this case, we were playing so defensively it didn't really matter. So at the end of this match, what I want to highlight here is that this leveling system, all the heroes that you get have levels as you play them. You need to get every hero to level 10 to get all of the free cards.
Let the hunt begin.
And to play as other heroes, you need to beat them first. You can beat them while playing against other humans when you play in play mode, or you can beat the AI to unlock them. I encourage you to beat the AI first, just because you're still learning the ropes of the game, and when you play against players, it's a little bit more challenging because you may come across people that have, you know, decks that are have synergy, or using a lot of the non-free cards. And while you can compete at a higher level than what you start at with basic cards, it's very challenging. And there's also people that who stay around the low ranks because they like having the kind of easier win experience, and they goof around, but they goof around with like really powerful decks. So I just warn you that to start when you're learning. Instead of being surprised by someone doing some really crazy stuff, you might want to stick with the AIs to start with. The other bonus is that when you beat the expert AI, which while it will give you some challenges to start with, is very doable. Once you beat all the heroes in expert AI, you get an extra bonus 100 gold. So as part of leveling up the mage to level 2, I got 2 more good cards. These are the basic Frostbolts, deal 3 damage to a character and freeze it. Freezing is a mechanism that, for the most part, mage is the only one that really does it. It basically means that whatever you freeze can't attack the next turn. So if you freeze a hero and they have a weapon, they can't use that weapon. Their hero powers, however, still work. If you freeze a minion, that minion can't attack until the next turn. So overall, what I did in this first tutorial was I gave you a little bit of an overview of how to maintain board presence, when it made sense to do trade, playing on mana curve to try to maximize your mana usage as your initial turns go on, and kind of gave you tips about how to get started. So I want to task you as your homework, so to speak, to try to beat all of the different heroes, so you unlock all the heroes, and then also try to beat them on expert mode. And when I make my next video, we're going to talk about how to put together your first basic deck. Probably still sticking with mage, but I have to think about that a little bit. And we'll actually take that to try to analyze kind of what you do once you start building your decks, and how you think about your plays a little bit differently. I made all these plays without knowing what cards were in my hands. But the idea of you knowing what's in your deck will actually give you a lot more to think about on each turn, and allow you to try to anticipate plays better. So thank you for watching. I hope this helped you some, and good luck, and I'll see you soon.